Hello people, Sonic Dude 10 here again, and this time I am redoing a video that I made a while back about my custom little Android laptop that I built. And I know that some of you have already seen it and that this is just another thing going over something I've done before, but I decided to clean up the video a bit, make it a little bit better. So, custom Android laptop. And you'll notice here that this thing has a Motorola symbol on it, and that there's a big black box with cables coming off of it. For those of you who do not know, this thing right here is one of a few variations of a device called the Motorola Lap Dock. And the Lap Dock, well, think of it as basically a small netbook-sized laptop computer that has everything in it except for a processor board and storage. It has a screen, keyboard, touchpad, audio, and battery. All of that. It just does not have any sort of storage space or processors or anything like that in it. Because what it has instead, right back here, you'll see that there's this little spot here with two connectors on it. This one on the right here is a micro HDMI connector that connects up for audio and video. And this right here is a micro USB that connects up for the keyboard and mouse function, as well as for the two USB ports on the back here. This model was meant for a series of phones, for two Motorola phones, namely the Motorola by Droid Atrix, I believe, or I just know it as the Atrix phone, and the Droid Bionic. I don't know which version that I have here. I suspect this is the Bionic since the HDMI is here and the micro USB is here and there's no tray in it. I might have removed the tray. I don't remember. I built this thing so long ago and never paid attention to what version of the lap dock I got. It's kind of hard when I have three of these things laying around. But anyways, now that you know what I've got here, I also have this thing here. Mini PC, quad-core A9 processor. I know, older hardware, because I've had this thing for a little over 2 years now. This is a Tronsmart MK908 Android TV Smart Stick little computer. It has a HDMI cable here, USB, host USB here for input, and then USB cable for 5-volt power here. And then on-the-go port here to flash it or uses another host port, and a micro SD card slot. Specs of the little PC are not that bad. It's got a A9 based ARM processor, which is quad-core, 1.6 gigahertz, has a Mali 400 GPU that I have no idea what it's clocked at, 2 gigs of RAM, and 8 gigs of internal storage. So, now you may be figuring out what I've done here. Took this Android Smart Stick, put it on the lap dock here. You may be wondering, how on earth did I do that? Well, it's not that hard really. This HDMI cable you're looking at here is one that I searched all over eBay for and found. It's from China, of course. The MK908 has a mini HDMI female port on it, so you need a male mini HDMI plug to plug into it. In fact, I'll go ahead and unplug it, show it. This cable here has a male mini HDMI port on this side, and then about 6 inches on the other side has a female micro HDMI. And that plugs directly into right there on that HDMI plug. This was fairly cheap, and I bought several since you know how a lot of Chinese stuff is. It tends to like to break and fall apart. The other secret to this was I needed a HDMI or a USB cable. Namely, one that would plug into the micro port and the Type D port. Since it's male there, it needed to be female, which I have here. And it also needed to be the Type A square plug connector for a male plug, since this has the standard USB plug on it. And so I just got a simple OTG host cable, chopped the end of it off over here, and then put this male plug on it. I know, tape. It's been on there for 2 years and it's starting to come off. But it's never failed me. You also noticed a third USB cable here. It's because I need external power. The USB on these lap docks, they are not like your normal USB. Yes, they do get the data lines and connect them from the smart stick or phone to the keyboard and mouse in here, but the power does not work the same way. Normal USB, the device, in this case the keyboard and mouse, would take power from the host PC, this TV smart stick. But since this lap dock has the built-in battery here, this USB does not receive power from the phone or my smart stick in this case, but rather sends power out to the phone to charge it, and also sends power to run my little mini PC. But the problem is, it only puts out 700 milliamps of charging power, and this thing needs upwards of 2 amps of power to run. So I got around that by just taking a USB power line that plugs into the power jack here, and then I just plugged it into one of these USB headers on the back here for extra power, and I don't know how much power that port puts out, but I know that's enough to keep this little TV stick running even when it's under full heavy load. And that works for me. Simple little cable that was easy to make just by chopping the plug off the USB end and putting another one on. 4 wires, easy enough. Cheap little cable from China, 6-inch long mini HDMI male to micro HDMI female. And then an extra USB, which has got a mini plug, not micro, but rather mini, on this end for the extra power. And there you go. You have yourself a little Android-powered laptop that's fairly cheap. So, I will pause, put this thing together, and then we'll start it up and see what it's like. Be back in a moment. Okay, I've got it mostly put together. But now, there's maybe one thing that y'all are asking yourselves. How on earth do you turn this thing on and off? I mean, how do you power it up, get power and everything? Well, the way these Atrix laptops, or these Bionic, these models of the Lap Dock work is they use the HDMI line. HDMI has a sense line on it. I forget which pin it is exactly, but that pin, when it's pulled to ground on the Lap Dock side, will allow this thing to be turned on. And it goes through the cable and into here and gets grounded out inside of here. So as soon as I plug this cable in, the Lap Dock will turn on and supply power. Because I've got power lights on it somewhere here. Right here, these 2 little holes. The top one, I believe it is a blue LED that shows me when it's on. And even though I have the USB plugged in, you'll notice that blue light is not on. But as soon as I plug the HDMI in, it will turn on, because then the USB regulators will get powered up. So let's plug that in. It's in. Give it a moment here, and you'll see the blue LED. It's on the bottom, but there it is. The laptop, or the TV stick, is booting up. Now you may be noticing that I'm keeping the screen shut. That's because the distribution of Android I'm running on here, I have to let it boot for a little bit first before I open the screen to get it to the proper resolution. Otherwise it sits in a low resolution mode and refuses to turn to higher, because this thing has a 1366 by 768 screen. And I run the Android TV stick there at 720p, 1280 by 720. I probably could run it at native 1366 by 768, but that would probably involve kernel hacking, and I'm not that good. I've been wanting to get Ubuntu Linux on that thing going for a long time, but I've never been able to compile myself a kernel together to get it to work. So I'm stuck with Android until I can figure it out or somebody's willing to help me. But anyways, that should be booted enough for it to get proper screen resolution. I'm running Finless Bob ROM version 1.8 on it. Android 4.4 based from freaktab.com. Go there for all your custom Android ROM needs. I run several custom Android ROMs from them. And there we go. We are at the desktop. So, you may be thinking, okay, so you got screen here, and you may be hard to see, but this thing would focus. I guess not. But it's at the proper resolution here. From my perspective, there's no pixelation in it. Background is pixelated, but I think that's just the way the background is. And I used to have this thing set up custom pretty good a while back, but I flashed the Android image several times and never gotten it there. So now you may be asking yourself, okay, so I've got the Android desktop there. How does it work? Well, let's look down here. We got a touchpad. I can double tap it over here to turn it off. Lights off, it don't work. Double tap to turn it on. And then I can move my mouse finger down here to work it. You see a mouse cursor there? It moves. Damn light glare. It works. Left click does work, and does the right click. And of course the keyboard here, since this was built for an Android powered Motorola phone, the keyboard fully works. The footnote keys over here, we've got these two are for the screen brightness, they work. These two are for the volume control, they work. All the footnote keys, the keyboard is a fully functional, built for Android, it works. So to get the Android to work with this thing, because usually people would be controlling this with like a, I don't know, like a Xbox controller or one of those simple mouse controller things. Not everybody uses a physical keyboard, and so this Android OS is built like the one for the tablet computers with a touchscreen, but this thing does not have a touchscreen, but that on-screen keyboard would still pop up. So I forgot what it is I use for the keyboard input. It's no keyboard. That gets rid of the on-screen keyboard, as I don't need that since I have a physical keyboard right here. And it's fully working, so let's see here. What can I show it with? I don't have much installed on this. Let's check out FreeDOS since I have a DOS box on here. Actually, no, because I never set it up. That and applications are updated. Okay, you know what? Change of plans. Let's start Minecraft P Pocket Edition. Just to show you that it can run it smoothly, even though I won't have good control with it, as I don't. Actually, I do have an external mouse. Where is it? Give me a moment, people. I'm going to get my Apple Mighty Mouse Bluetooth Edition so that I can have a true mouse to use with Minecraft Pocket Edition. And I'll let these applications update. Be back in a moment again. And we're back. Okay. Got my laser Mighty Mouse here. I got the corded USB one for my desktop PC. Like these things because of the omnidirectional scroll wheel on them. I know it's not the best, but they get dirty and stuff, but I like it anyways. External mouse here. Let's play. And Minecraft Pocket Edition now has support for external keyboard and mouse input, although the mouse support is still not the best. I do have an Xbox 360 controller that I've tested with this and it works, but again, and of course, keyboard and I forget what the jump button is. I don't know if it's set up on this, but it works. I right click with the mouse, it brings it up to, it's the same as hitting the back button, this thing down here. But as you can see here, just looking, the gameplay is smooth. There's no problems here. So this thing is fairly powerful. Decently powerful enough to do the things I want it to do. But again, I wish that I had some Linux support on it, because I cannot get a freaking Linux kernel for this thing. I don't know why nobody has bothered to compile them. I mean, the source code is available for this thing, but nobody has made them compiled for idiots like me who can't seem to get the compiler to working. I have a desktop PC that I run Linux on that I've tried to compile in many different ways following instructions. Never got to work. Even my friend who runs Linux on a daily basis, he doesn't know what to do either, so I'm at a loss. If any of you who watch this want to help out, I'd appreciate it. Tronsmart MK908 revision, the board version in this little stick is V3. So Tronsmart MK908 V3, looking for a Linux kernel, preferably for like Ubuntu or Lubuntu to go on it. Anybody who wants to help me do that, I would really appreciate it. Anyways, this is a updated look at my little Android laptop. Motorola Bionic. I have never really named this thing, but I guess I'll just go by what I made the name of the original video about this. Motorola TV Smart, or Android TV Smart Stick plus Motorola Lap Dock equals strange breed of laptop. And believe me, this is a strange breed of laptop. I'm just going to shut it off by just closing it and unplugging it. And this thing is fairly portable. I have been able to shake this around even with those cables hanging there, no problem. And the nice thing about this is that whenever I want to go somewhere with it, just have to unplug this, close the dock, unplug this, and throw it in my hardware technology carry bag. I have one that's big enough to hold this and has a top pocket that I can throw this in, as well as the mouse and charge cables and whatever else I take with me. Bag's usually pretty full since I have other Android devices, but fairly portable. It doesn't disconnect all the time, and it allows me to have a decent little small netbook-like computer with it that I can use for like YouTube videos and basic spreadsheet and document editing on the go, as well as some light gaming. This has been Sonic Dude 10 with an updated look at my Motorola Lapdock Android laptop thingy. Strange breed of laptop. Peace out.